Hello, hello, hello. It's a special Friday episode of the Big O Belt Podcast. I'm your host, Two Chains, and I am joined by my fellow co-host, Dr. M. How you doing today, brother?
Doing pretty good, man. How you doing?
Good, good. Thanks for taking a little bit of time out of your busy schedule down in the hot Atlanta to join us. But it's got to be for a special reason, a special occasion, and we have no other repping the 505 Mrs. Valentina Loca. How you doing today?
What's going on, fellas? It's your girl putting it down, doing the thing. I'm good. I'm living life. Can't complain.
I can't even lie. Like, upon reaching out for people for interviews and stuff like that, I definitely get like very excited. And then, once we're able to pretty much book that we're gonna do the show, that's another level of excitement. Then you do your research, and once I was like, doing my research today, and I reached back out to you because I was like, holy crap! Like, I didn't realize how much more fun this is going to be than I originally thought. Like your energy and just who you are, you can tell this is so genuine and so passionate about everything you do. So I was just like, yeah, this is not going to be like just a regular like, oh, how'd you get started, blah blah blah. I was like, this is going to full out like break out to just a regular conversation after a while.
Yeah, man. I mean, I try because, always talking about that mad fire and always about using those fire emojis, blasting off here, there, everywhere. But no, like, I try to be 100, keep it 100 all day, every day. Because when I say bless up, it ain't just a cute little hashtag, a cute little catchphrase. It's a real heartfelt mentality that, we all going to make it. We all going to be blessed. That's how we do. So
That's right. That's right. So originally I reached out to you because I knew that you were announced for the Making Time Classic, which is a show that the Big O Belt will be sponsoring and helping promote down the line. And I knew you had to withdraw because of unforeseen circumstances. So that's unfortunate. I won't be able to see you there, but nonetheless, it definitely was great to still be able to do this interview still and talk about other things that you got going on coming up forward. So,
oh, yeah, well, definitely. Even though I'm not able to make the Making Towns Classic, because, in this wild wrestling world of ours, as they say, the cliche phrase is like anything can happen in wrestling, and that's definitely the case here. So while I was like super grateful, super pumped to be a part of such a great opportunity to be work with girls who are much more experienced, much more even like better than I am when it comes to the wrestling game because I'm super new. I'm not even a year in yet. So to get an opportunity like that to work with girls like Priscilla Kelly, who's the Shine Nova champion, Jordan Grace, who's doing great things at Beyond Wrestling, it was super stoked. But, things happen. So I'm definitely excited to see what goes on. I'll still be keeping my eye out on that Making Towns Classic. But yeah, over here in Iowa land, I am currently living in Davenport, Iowa. I came over here from Albuquerque, New Mexico. And yeah, I got a show this Saturday. I'm kind of engaged in this little blood feud, this little beef with a little punk named Rain Victoria. She's been getting a few up on me these last few months, using those sneaky ways. And, from the hood, from the streets, we don't appreciate that. I get down, and I get down heavy. So when she tries to come at me with this fake stuff, I ain't about it. We got to make something happen here. You know what I'm saying? So I'll be giving a little bit of a wrestle with her tomorrow evening at SCW Pro in Dubuque, Iowa. So that'll be fun. And then let's see, what else do I have going on? I believe that at the end of this month, I will be traveling down to New Orleans to see what's going on there. Don't have anything like specific going on right now, but I'm hoping to, hang around, see what's going on, because, everyone else can use a little mad fire. I do say so myself. So.
Oh, so I told you, man, you bring that energy.
I don't know. I like always get super like confuzzled as to why people invite me on these interviews because I just talk so much and I'm like, no one wants to hear me ramble about what's going on. So I still appreciate you guys for having me on because I feel like I talk too much all the time. Bless the guys that live with me. Bless you guys.
No, but we do. That's what we want.
Appreciate you.
Were you about to say something, Dr.
No, we appreciate you and feel free to talk as much as you want. That's what this time is. One thing, saying a little bit, don't mind, I know that you're currently in the Davenport area, as you said before, but New Mexico is the original spot, right?
Oh, I'm sorry. What was that? You're a little cutting off on me a little bit.
I picked it up at the end. He did say that you're in the
Sorry about
Davenport
that.
area, and but New Mexico is your original home.
Yes, sir. That is correct. Born and raised in the land of enchantment, Breaking Bad area. You know, Walter White is my homeboy. All that good stuff.
So,
is there like a pretty big indie scene in the New Mexico area? You know, we're learning a lot about Iowa with Seth Rollins's crew starting up there in his school there, and of course us being from the DMV area, we know about a lot of the promotions there. Can you tell us about what's happening in New Mexico that you know about?
There actually surprisingly isn't a whole lot going on in New Mexico right now. There is one current consistent promotion that I actually worked for 2 weeks ago. They are called Destiny Wrestling Organization. They're ran out of Albuquerque. Mm-hmm. And I had the chance to wrestle in my hometown for the first time 2 weeks ago, so that was a really great opportunity. And I believe there is another company, but I believe they run mainly in El Paso. So, like, while it's not quite New Mexico, it's bordering on New Mexico. So, actually, this is going to sound super hokey, super cheesy, super sob story almost. But when I came out to Iowa to train with Seth Rollins and Merrick Brave, I remember making it like my exact mission to put New Mexico in terms of wrestling on the map, just because I love my state so much. I love representing it, and I feel like wrestling down there can definitely get a boom, just like wrestling in the Midwest or wrestling on the East Coast. So I'm doing my best to help out, get some recognition in that area, because we got some really great talents. And I think, it's about time we show people what the 505 is all about.
And before we talk about the Black and Brave, that's exactly what was going to be my next question. What does it mean to be or to come from the 505? What does that mean?
Oh, 505, it's not just like an area code or a place where you're from, but I feel like people from Albuquerque, they get their hands dirty, they work hard, and especially like in the smaller town, because there's Albuquerque, but then there's some smaller towns above. So I came from like a smaller town of 200 people, and it's one of those towns where you go to high school, you get married, you have kids, and you stay there. So I wanted to be the exception. I wanted to be the one person to be like, hey, you can go out, you can make something of yourself. There's more to life than, just your farms and your Breaking Bads and all that good stuff. So I definitely just want to be an example, an inspiration to people. That's all the mentality that I have going into that.
Mentality, you mean that 5'10", but with the 4'10", but with the 5'10" mentality? Is that what you speak of?
You know it, because that's a big thing that, especially like during wrestling training, I've always been wanting to do this big moves, clotheslining people, lifting people up for body slams. So I always have this mentality that I'm a lot bigger than I am, but it's like, oh, but you only 4'10", boo, what you doing? So I definitely have the opposite, I guess, of little person syndrome. I definitely want to be bigger than life, want to do all these crazy things, but then it's like, oh, well, maybe I shouldn't body slam people. Maybe that'll be best for you and for me.
So you did make your way out to Davenport, Iowa. Now, considering that commute and that trajectory, you have passed a lot of other schools. I mean, there was there's tons and tons down in the Texas area, or you can even cross the border, because the independent wrestling scene in Mexico itself is really big. So what made you end up out in Davenport, Iowa? What was the mental? What was the decision making? I mean, arguably, you're starting your career, you're investing in yourself. This is like college selection day. How come Black and Brave was on the radar?
Oh, yeah, definitely. And you're completely right in talking about investing in yourself, because that's exactly what I did. Being only 4'10", going back into that for a second, I never really thought that I could like do the wrestling thing, I'll give the whole cliche answer of like, I loved wrestling ever since I was a 9-year-old girl. I always wanted to do it. And that's the truth, when you're only like 4'10", 100 pounds soaking wet, it's almost intimidating, kind of being like, how can I be with those larger than life people, those big girls, big guys? How can I hang with those people? And it took a whole lot of encouragement and a lot of just surrounding myself with the good people to be like, hey, you can do whatever you set your mind to. So it took that almost light bulb moment for me to be like, you know what? I can. And you only have one life and you only have one chance to, make this life what you will. So I knew that if I wanted to invest in myself and I wanted to make wrestling as serious as a go as it could be, I wanted to learn from the best, definitely. And, Seth Rollins is killing it right now on Raw, going into WrestleMania, having those 60-man matches, and just being able to learn not only wrestling moves, but psychology, the wrestling world. It's still just mind blowing to me and just the most humbling experience in the world just to be able to be under that learning tree and to say that, hey, this guy's giving me some stuff in my arsenal, giving me stuff that I can give back to the world. So humbling is definitely the biggest word that comes to mind.
Bless up.
All day.
So, of course, being at Black and Brave, I'm sure, as you said, you're getting tons of advice from Seth and Merrick Brave. What else has the experience been like, though? Have there been days that are grueling for you? Has it been pretty overall smooth sailing?
Oh man, brother, I couldn't even tell you the days where I've been beaten up, and definitely you have your days where mentally it's exhausting, but I think when you're around people who are not only super knowledgeable but super supportive, like both Seth, Merrick, and our assistant trainer, he goes by Crotch, they're all just the biggest. It's like a family, you know what I'm saying? Like, because it's one thing to be like, okay, here you go, here's how to wrestle, go on to the world, see you later, bye. But here it's just this entire family of community, not just from the trainers, but from fellow graduates and people who are also going to this school. We all lift each other up and keep each other in check and be like, hey, what if you try something this way? Or why don't you try something this way? Or even, like, let's say if you're having a bad day and you're thinking, oh, like, I don't know if I can do this, or I just don't think I'm good at this. We're all there to build each other up and to be like, hey, you can do this and you're awesome, and go out there and be awesome. So that's something that I'm also absolutely grateful for. Not only the knowledge, because knowledge is definitely important, but also to have that support is so important.
So taking into consideration things you said tonight already, and things I've also heard you say on in other interviews. I mean, your life has basically been about defying the odds. I mean, you talked about your height, and your way of being a smaller person. You talked about in other interviews how you have no athletic background. You've also talked about your family even at times saying that they didn't take you serious in regards to you wanting to carry out your dreams and your dreams of wrestling, that is, and other challenges. Is that all the more the mental that you took going into signing up for this school, considering that there's not many other women graduates from this school, and they have a reputation of not having a high retention rate because people just can't compete. It's a really challenging school. The CrossFit, no wonder why it's called the CrossFit Jesus, but the CrossFit can be very challenging for people and really hard for people to overcome, considering and people just not being able to finish. Do you think this was just all the more reason why you picked the school and just another strike to prove to yourself that you can do this and you want to do this?
Oh, definitely, without a doubt. I know in other interviews and stuff like that, I mentioned not only being like super small and super unathletic, because I never played a sport a day in my life. In fact, a funny story is Seth asked me one of the times during training if I'd ever thrown a baseball, and I was like, I think I have, like once or twice. And he was like, what? You've only thrown a baseball once in your life? And I was like, But not only that, but growing up, I came from like a super low poverty background, food stamps, getting by check to check. So when I talk about the struggle, when I talk about the hustle, it's not just gimmick for me. It's not just something to spit out for catchphrase to get a few cheers here and there. It's something that I've lived through my entire life, and a good mentality also, but going back to that word that I like to have is I love proving people wrong. I love making people eat their words, and as I like to say, proving people wrong is the business that I'm in, and business is going good. So going into the school, definitely, it was something that I wanted to prove to myself, and I wanted to prove back home to be like, you know what? you say that I can't do it, or you say that it's funny, or I even got the little laugh, like, "What are you doing? Like, you going to wrestling school?" Because at the time too, I was going to college for a bachelor's degree in communication, and that was going to be the big moneymaker that my mom wanted me to have. Because considering we didn't have a lot of money growing up, she wanted me to have a really good job and wanted me to be, the executive desk job, golden goose kind of child. But that wasn't me. That's not my gimmick. So definitely having that competitive edge, having that drive to succeed and wanting to prove people wrong and make them eat their words basically is all this entire culmination of why I'm here and how I'm sitting here talking to you guys. So that's pretty cool, I guess.
That's pretty damn awesome.
Well, your toughness definitely comes through. I was looking at one of your videos. I think it was from Shine. I forget when it was posted, but it's on YouTube now. And you may be 4'10", but I have to admit I was a little intimidated looking at your.
Yeah, brother. I think it might have been for Shimmer, correct? Because I haven't worked for Shine yet, but I have done some things for Shimmer. Yeah.
Okay, might have been for Shimmer. Yeah. But kind of building off of that, I know that you're still, as you said, relatively new in the wrestling world, but and I know you have beef with Reign Victoria that you're trying to settle tomorrow night. But have you had, or would you be able to say who your favorite opponent has been so far?
Oh gosh, I've only had, I want to say, less than. Oh gosh, I couldn't even tell you how many matches I've had now. But a match that I had just recently that I really enjoyed, and she's actually in the Making Towns Classic. I had a match with Valentina Loca for Casual Attack Wrestling in Chicago a few months ago, and I thought that was super fun. I got to be super mean because she was the super cute blonde hair party unicorn, and I got to be the almost Uso-esque badass that was like, "Hey, I'm gonna rain down on your party. What's up? What's good? Let's get it popping." And so working with her was super fun, and definitely in the future I'd love to work with her some more. And she's somebody who I'm possibly gonna keep my eye on for the Making Towns Classic because I know she can do some things. I've been in the ring with her, and Party Unicorn don't play. So.
Yeah, Lainey Luck, the Snapchat queen. She actually a year to tomorrow, she made her debut at Nova Pro Wrestling, who is the promotion we frequently promote for and sponsor with. She appeared at the trial show and then has been coming back since then. She's been very, very impressive, being able to see her grow over the years. So from the from the promos you guys have been cutting with each other, I've automatically been invested because she's been a favorite of mine, and being able to do research on you're growing on me instantly. I mean, it's just straight genuine. It's easy to appreciate someone when you can tell, like, I legitimately know that person is who they are. And I mean, the obviously the cliche to this is like why so many people like the New Day in WWE, because you can tell they're genuinely who they are. That's why it works.
Yeah, definitely. And it's funny that you say that because I live in a house with a bunch of other Black and Brave graduates, and so before I went to do this podcast with y'all, they asked me. He was like, "So, one of them was asking, are you gonna do this interview in kayfabe? Or are you gonna do it in gimmick?" And I'm like, "Brother, what gimmick? What's happening? This is just me turned up to 11. It's just me being more obnoxious than I already am."
Right.
So, I appreciate definitely like a good character in wrestling, but for me, as you said, I find my truest form in just being the most genuine with people, and that's how I connect with people, is just being me and putting that up for the world, and hopefully people like it. Or if I'm being mean that day, maybe you don't like it.
And I know you work matches in the past with other people that I'm accustomed to, such as Angelus Lane and Brittany Blake and Samantha Heights. So you definitely, for your only being a year in, has definitely worked with some big names who are actually making their rise in the indie scenes right now. So you're within great company. And then the pedigree of what school you graduated from, the promotions you've already worked with, as far as Rise, Shimmer, ICW, and Freelance Underground. I mean, you're definitely making your way up through the independent scenes instantly with a great impression. I mean, honestly, when we promoted the fact that we was gonna have you on the show, people were, my friends who have my number text me, and people who didn't know me was DMing and stuff like that. So there's a draw there, and I think a lot of people can just see the your passion that you contain. So
Yeah, I appreciate it definitely because, I'm just trying to live out this dream of mine. If people want to come along for the journey, y'all are more than welcome to. We all gonna make it.
So go ahead. You was
So,
gonna say, oh yeah, go ahead.
so as you mentioned before, you have a big match up tomorrow night in Dubuque, SCW. Let's say someone is going to a show, seeing you compete for the first time. What can they expect featuring Valentina Loca?
Oh, brother, the stuff you can expect from Valentina Loca is, intensity, fire, desire, everything in between. I personally like to catch my opponents off guard because I can guarantee almost 99.999% of the time when they come into the ring with me, whether they've wrestled me or not, they're going to underestimate me. They're going to think, oh, short little cute brown eyes, coming trying to be cute, trying to scrap with me. And I'll be like, no, boo, I got you. So, I got some killer kicks, got some killer submissions. In fact, my finishing move is called the 217, which is police code for assault with intent to murder. And it's a variation of the octopus hold that AJ Lee does, or that
Uh,
she used to do, rather. Only the difference is I like to yank their arm back and I like to squeeze their head with my legs and cut off all that circulation. We don't play around here on these streets. So, yeah, definitely come and have a good time, whether I'm at SCW, which is my home promotion, which is ran by Merrick Brave. It's super awesome. No bias. We run mainly out of the Quad Cities, but I'm always around, always trying to make my way. And I know I worked a show with both Lainey Luck and Hudson Envy, who are both in the Making Towns Classic, back down in Dallas at the end of last year. So, distance ain't no thing. If people want your girl, I'll be there. Rain, shine, make it happen.
Would love to see you make that trip over to the East Coast for a Nova Pro event. Would definitely love that. I'm just saying, no bias, but
Yeah,
just saying.
that would be super great. In fact, one of our Black and Gray graduates is actually going to go down for the next Nova Pro tryout show, so I'm super pumped for him. He is the Hawkeye, Steve Manders. Shout
I
out
was
to
going
him.
to say
So
you plugged that guy. I'll see him
I
tomorrow.
did, I did. So definitely, you guys are going to be in for a treat when you see him too, because he's a big dude. He's a hoss. So
What's his name again?
Steve Manders.
Steve Manders. Okay, I definitely will approach him tomorrow. So the trial show, just for anyone who's maybe not familiar with Nova Pro, the trial show is basically an open invitation for anybody who's able to obtain a VA license, and obviously just have to shoot an email to the boy Mike King. And this is an opportunity for someone to become a regular on Nova Pro's roster. So, they held it last year, turnaround success was really good. So all you have to do is just come bring it, make an impression on the crowd, and then you're there. You're on the team. And it's a great promotion and a great way to get your name recognized on the East Coast as the DMV area, which is the Washington, DC metropolitan area, Maryland, DC, Virginia area. Good way to get your name brought up on the East Coast. So it's going to be exciting tomorrow. So the Black and Brave again. I want to hear from you. Why do you think that there has been maybe just a few number of female graduates coming from this school, and what does it mean to be in that company of the few?
Honestly, going to the few, I would say that it's honestly just not only a big honor, but it's something like a cape that I wear on my chest. Because right now, currently, I'm the only active female graduate from the Black and the Brave because we have two, I believe, that are on injury. One of them, Violet Parker, she was the very first female graduate of the Black and the Brave, and she sustained a really nasty shoulder injury. So we're hoping and sending all that good vibes for her to come back soon. And then last graduating class, we had a girl who tore her ACL and her meniscus, which is unfortunate. But, wrestling, it happens. So I feel like things like that you can't really avoid, especially when we're doing such high impact stuff. So that's super unfortunate. But she's looking to make her return. I believe I talked to her and she said she was going to make her debut hopefully in June of this year. So that'll be good. And I'll have some people to work around with. And then we have one other girl, I believe, who graduated last class as well, but she's from Australia, so she's working on getting her visa to come back over here. So I feel like circumstances that just are beyond people's control. It's I wouldn't say even like a set reason, like this is why we don't have a lot of females. You know what I'm saying? Like life just happens, and it's unfortunate in that sense. But I'm definitely, proud to hold down the Black and Brave name for the ladies for the meantime, catching me all over. So I'm carrying that load all. I'm happy to do it, no doubt.
No better person to do it, right?
Always, always. If I toot my own horn a little bit too much, I'm not going to be able to fit through the door.
Well, obviously,
go ahead.
This is obviously, as you know, a pretty big time for women's wrestling, right? Not just in the big TV promotions, but of course we have the Macon Towns Classic coming up in a few months, right? And a lot of lesser known promotions are going to great lengths to feature women more. What's your impression of where women's wrestling is today?
I couldn't even express to you how happy and how full of joy my heart is when we talk about women's wrestling, because back in the day when I was growing up, I was, and while I don't hate on it by any means, and I don't want anybody to take it in that way, but we did have, like, the bra and panty matches, we had, like, the pillow fights, and that's all fine and dandy, because I understand that back then, female wrestling was more of a commodity, and now it's taken more of, like, an athletic form, a more competitive form, and in the end, as someone who's very competitive, that's something that's more appealing to me. So, I was even speaking to my trainer about this, Merrick, a few days ago about how it's just an awesome time to be a women's wrestler. And I feel like that hasn't always been the case, if I may say so myself. Yeah. But now, especially, like, I'm just super pumped. I'm just super stoked. And again, I'm just super happy to be a part of it. And just even getting to work with, like, big names, small names, getting to wrestle where I can. I don't know. I just think it's awesome. I'm a fan at heart. So nothing short of happiness on my end in regards to women's wrestling, where it's at right now. And it's only up from here. That's the best part. So
that's right.
Exactly.
I mean, we're definitely moving in the right direction as far as equality, and women wrestling isn't just a one-off match type of thing on promotions or maybe no matches at all. I mean, Nova Pro's hosting their first all-women show tomorrow, which is going to be great. But a lot of promotions and organizations are making strides in the right direction to give women the platform they deserve. I mean, you guys are just as harder workers, or maybe even harder, out there to prove that you can do what you can do in the ring that any other person could do as well. I mean, again, you're 4'10" and completely great matches from what I've seen online, working spots that maybe even work to your advantage of being short, but nonetheless, they're clean, greatly executed. I mean, and it's just a good time to be alive in independent wrestling, with so many promotions coming out of nowhere, and great matches, and sort of you could say dream combinations, intergender matches, all types of crazy things, and excitement is coming. It's just cool that women are getting the respect that they deserve.
So. Yeah, no doubt. I completely agree. And it's funny that you touch on intergender matches, because for the majority of my training, while I was training, I did a lot of intergender stuff. There was another girl in my class. She's not currently wrestling, that I forgot to mention earlier. She's probably going to kick me for it later. But her name is Gigi, and she's 6 foot tall. She's a 6 foot tall ginger. She's jacked to the gills. Scary. And she actually faced Valentina Loca in her first match last May or so, and she hasn't wrestled since then due to, like some personal issues, which is, all the good vibes out to her too. But since she was so big, it was a little tough for me to be like, hey, let's do some stuff. So we had this guy in my class. He was a little bit smaller. He was the smallest guy in the class. So I would always run my spots with him, and shout out to him because I racked him so many times. Bless his heart. I always said I was going to get him a fruit basket, and I never did. But one day he's going to get that fruit basket for all that. All that.
It's on the internet, so that's in blood now.
All right. I'm going to shout him out. I'm going to give him a name drop. All right, Mr. Jose Beautiful Boy out in Berwyn, Illinois. I'm going to get you that fruit basket. It's going to happen one of these days, I promise.
So I literally have to ask you, you are very good on wordplay, and it's by no coincidence that I think that you're also just very lyrically good. Do you have any other type of hobbies or passion outside of wrestling that may involve music or writing or poetry or anything of that sort?
Oh my God, I'm so glad he brought this up because this is something that actually came to light up in the Black and Brave house and during training. And it's just, it got a pop out of Seth himself, which is, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. But it turns out in high school, I had a dream because I feel like I've always been a super ambitious person, almost to a fault. But in high school, I had a setup in my bathroom in my tiny little house with a studio and a microphone, and I always thought I was going to be the next Nicki Minaj. I was ready to take the world by storm. I was ready to, become a rapper. So I actually, this is for shoot, I have a mixtape on SoundCloud from when I was 15 years old, and it is still on there. I'm not going to give you the name, but that mixtape came to light because the guys here at the house thought I was joking when I was like, no, fam, like I have a mixtape. You want to listen to my mixtape on SoundCloud? So we heard it. It was not good. I can tell you right now, not good at all. But we showed it to both Seth and both to Merrick, and their collective reaction was just, Jesus Christ, what is happening? Who are you? So I can't say that I didn't try to make my foray into the world of music, but maybe it's good. Maybe it's better than I'm doing the whole wrestling thing instead. So I'm very glad that you asked that, because any chance to plug my terrible mixtape, I'll do it any day.
Well, that wasn't really my direction, but nonetheless, I mean, I can see how you go about with your promos and being able to do it off the top. And actually, that's a term that's a pop culture term that a lot of people may not even understand what that actually means. But when you're able to go off the top, I mean, you automatically get street cred when it comes down to rap battles or just being able to kick a freestyle at the lunch table, whatever it may be. So when I was hearing that in interviews, I was just like, hold on. There's something else here that I don't think other people are picking up on. And she's like lyrically really good in her promos. Like these punchlines are coming out, and yes, I get the whole gist of the promo, but like take away whoever you're talking about and you're dropping bars.
So that's what I do, fam. Dropping bars. Riding in cars. Let's go. Like
I would love to have you on commentary. Whew.
Oh no, you won't want that, I promise. You do not want that. Goodness, that would be a hot mess. A dumpster fire of epic proportions. But for sure, like when I do cut promos, I do prefer to do them off the dome because I feel like they come off more genuine that way. I know when I try to write them out, or when I try to give myself, like, oh, this is what I'm gonna say here, then I'm gonna say this, then I'm gonna come for you, brother, and beat you up like that. That isn't real to me, and I feel like, especially with the people, that real recognizes real 100% of the time. So whether it be like in front of people, live on a mic at a show, or like a pre-tape promo, everything is coming from the soul, off the dome, because, that's how we got to do out here. We got to represent.
Not them.
I think the last thing I wanted to just quickly ask you about, I was looking at your Instagram a little bit earlier today. Can you talk a little bit about what goes into your attire? I see you always rock the bandana, of course, right? And I see you rock the plaid a little bit as well. What kind of goes into that? Is that just something that just fits with? I mean, I know your character is you, right? But how much thought goes into that, or is it just something natural to you?
Honestly, I didn't really put that much thought into it. To be honest, I wanted something that was not only unique, but something that no one, I would say, like female-wise, has ever done before. Because I know there's a lot of incredibly great, awesome, talented, hardworking Hispanic female girls out there who are working the independents, who are on TV. And I wanted to be something different. I didn't just want to be, like generic Hispanic female, what's up, what's good kind of thing. So, in fact, I believe it was my debut match ever in the history of the world. It was at Rise 3 in Berwyn, and I got a tweet that someone sent me, and it was a picture of me in the ring cutting a promo, and the caption was, "What the heck happened to Conan?" It was the greatest thing I'd ever heard.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so, I mean, they were coming for me, but I took it as a compliment. I was like, yeah, but I'm rocking Conan, the Conan collection, but definitely. And also, like, low-key, those flannels are super cheap. So, like, my gear cost isn't like that expensive. So that's always good. That puts more money back into my pocket, you know, chasing checks. That's what you got to do. So,
Hey.
yeah, man. And also like the plaid, I have it in variety of different colors. I pretty much have a plaid and a matching bandana in every color of the rainbow. So in any
I,
show that I might be at, I could be, you know, rocking a yellow, rocking a red, rocking a pink. You'll never know. It's like a bag of Skittles.
I'm not even gonna lie. I am your art closets must be identical, and I had to change because I thought you was gonna think it was cheesy the fact that I had on a red and black a red and black flannel earlier. I was just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have to change that.
Oh, not at
Literally,
all. I would have been like, hey, I like your fashion.
yeah. It's just I don't know. It's something. I mean, I have so many red and black ones. It's ridiculous. Every time I see one, it's like, oh wow, that one's nice. Not even realizing that I already have you and your cousins a billion other ones in there already. So, um, I was going to ask something else. Okay, so back to the lyrical thing too. Do you actually look to any artists? I know you said something about Nicki Minaj earlier, but do you actually look to any artists as far as maybe motivation or sort of say a style of wordplay in order to help use or better improve your bars and as far as helping you with your promos?
Oh, for sure, definitely. Like Nikki is one. Just, you know, her style, her sass, even a little bit of, you know, seduction, if you will, even though I'm like the most non-seductive person ever. But also a big inspiration that I take is Big Sean. I love Big Sean's lyricism. Just in almost everything that he does, you know, it has a little quick witty
Yeah.
ism to it, and especially his last album that I listen to almost every day.
Okay.
I'm a huge Big Sean fan.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I was just so keen to it because I mean, I'm like when we talk about like favorite rappers and favorite artists. I mean, I'm a big lyricist type of person, so like Big Sean, Lupe Fiasco, Eminem, Ludacris, people like that are who I'm like really keen to because it's
Hmm.
just I love punchlines. And then I was just listening to your promos, I was just like, wait a minute, like this, it doesn't feel like anyone else, which is weird. And then maybe other people they prepare for their promos or write them down, however it may be, and some people may story tell. But I'm more of the punchline type of person, like build up to something and then nail it. So
Exactly, exactly. And I like to throw a little witty reference here and there that, and if you get it, awesome. And if you don't,
yeah,
then it sounds cool anyway. So
yeah.
definitely. I'm also a big fan of Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick Lamar is one of my big guys too. So shout outs to Kendrick all day.
I mean, you do got the whole West Coast appeal, so I was a little surprised. I was like, okay, New Mexico makes sense, but I was just like, yeah, I guarantee she's from the Bay Area before I did any bit of research. just off of attire, I was like West Coast all day. I think that pretty much covers everything I had to add. So, Dr. M, did you have anything else you wanted to, or we get out of here for the night?
No, I think we hit on a lot of points tonight. Anything you wanted to share with us, Valentina?
Oh, just thanks you guys for having me. I appreciate it. I
Oh, no
definitely
doubt.
appreciate any opportunity to get myself out there and get the good word of us Black and Brave kids out there. Because, you know, I like to think it's not just me on this journey, but it's all of us on this journey. So taking them with me,
That's right.
spreading the good word. We're out here in Iowa land with all the corn and whatnot. I was trying to think of what else is here, but no, just corn.
So,
But yeah.
so again, before we get out of here, definitely take time to, where can people find you, your upcoming shows, and anything else you have going on.
Okay, for sure. You can find me on all social medias. It's the same handle. It's going to be S West Spitfire because I am the Southwest Spitfire all day, every day. And then also you can catch me at SCW Pro tomorrow, Dubuque, Iowa. Gonna smash Rain Victoria in a pretty little face. Always a good time. And then also, you know, shout out to the Making Towns Classic for including your girl for the time that I could be there. I wish I could be there, but you know, things happen, definitely. But yeah, that's all I got. And thank you guys for having me.
Without a doubt. Thank you again for coming on. We have to do this again. You're just taking off in the career. Things are only going to get bigger and better. Don't forget about us. We definitely need to plug that right now.
Most definitely. I'm always around to do some things. So hit me
Yeah,
up.
and I know who I can definitely reach out to when new mixtapes of some of our favorite artists will drop. So
Heck
definitely
yeah.
prepare to hear that. But again, you heard her social medias. Definitely step over to her page, give her a follow, a like, all that. Watch the careers is taking off. I mean, again, she's in great company, coming from such a high prestigious school in the Black and Brave, which is Seth Rollins' camp, who's frequently there because people already always ask that.
That is the main question that I get
Yeah.
every single time when they hear, "Oh, Black and Brave, is Seth really there?" I'm like, yes, he
Yeah.
probably sees me much more than he would like. All the time.
So, you're thinking about, considering you're coming from that and, working with other promotions such as Rise and Shimmer, considering all of the most talented women all over the world has been through those gyms. So, and, being able to get invites from other upcoming promotions and events such as the Make It Town Classic. I mean, it's only taken off for you here. So, for people that may not have seen you work now, I'm sure by the end of the year they will know who you are. So
that's the plan, brother. We're kicking down the door. 2018, we're coming for you.
So this is the Big Go Bell podcast. Thanks for everyone tuning in. We will catch you guys for our next show. So thanks for tuning in. Thank you very much.
Bless up.
Bless up.